What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 12, I think we're on now, of Yo, That's Weird podcast with me, Sonia Z, and one of my favorite people on earth, even though he looks like a serial killer that I'm interviewing for prison right now. And it's like my room's all
I know.
colorful and like
I
but
know it's a very bare, very bare
bare
wall.
bones, bare bones.
I
But
have I have shit. I have let's see. I have art or not,
I have
but I
art.
have like pictures. I just
Okay.
haven't hung them up yet.
All
Here's
right.
Drake.
Okay. Okay. I like the Drake. The Drake is clutch, actually.
This is my favorite. He did a magazine cover years ago, and I just think it's such a funny picture.
He's doing the
So I,
teeth
I
like as
had
if
that
he
on my
had
wall.
grills. It looks like he's
Well,
trying to do
yeah,
a
it's
chop,
like
but he doesn't.
there's a toothpick in there,
Oh, the
and
toothpick.
yeah, it's just such a like I don't know, it's such a like consummate entertainer pose. It's like how dare you do that, you know? But
Quintessential.
I think that's why I think that's why I like it so much. It's like uh it's like almost rude of him to have done that before he was the most famous person in the world.
It's an affront. It's an affront to
Yeah.
Hollywood society. I would agree. Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
It's like
Um,
TikTok blow ups. It's like the same energy.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and
Um,
I didn't get to say your name because
oh
I
yeah,
started
I'm
joking right away,
sorry.
but
Yeah.
this is Charles Blyzniuk for everyone who does not know the understated genius that is Philadelphia's own.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you so much. This is I'm happy to be here. And this is also a great idea, this podcast. So this is I'm happy to be doing it. And I'm glad you're even without me being on it. I mean, it's just a good idea for a podcast and
Thank you.
yeah. It's a ton
I
of
have a lot of
fascinating stuff.
ideas and they're not always great.
No,
As
this is
Lemaire
a good
one time at Raven Lemaire said something to me. I had an idea about something a while ago and he goes, "Son, you have a lot of ideas and this is a good one."
is that's yeah, I mean that's a that's nice. I get yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's yeah, but it also is like, what do you mean by that?
It's the I love backhanded compliments. Comics are great at them.
Yeah, yeah, it's also like yeah, I guess at this point I'm just kind of like I'll take it, man, whatever. You know, I gotta shut up and just be like, okay, thanks. Whatever you say.
Yeah, take what you can get. Um, so I don't know what's your story in life lately? What do you got going on?
What is my story in life lately? I haven't been doing a ton of stand up. I've done it like here and there, but that's that's only because I've been working on something else and I feel like I'm close to being finished with it. So I'm just like, let me just
Okay.
finish this before I, get busy again.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that. I mean, it's writing. I mean, it's also writing. It's just not writing stand up.
Okay.
So, um, but I'm doing that a lot, which has been
Little
nice.
little secret project.
Oh
You
no, yeah, no, it's not secret. I always feel
don't want
I
to
think this
jinx
is
it.
no, not even. It's just like I think it's just my own self-consciousness. But I mean, hopefully it'll become a book.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just, I'm like editing it now myself and then I'll give it to somebody else. But um yeah, I'd love to have it published somewhere. But at this point it's like I'd like to just have have it done and put it out somehow before I am, fucking being a jackass at open mics all the time and like
Look,
and
we've done
I just yeah
that.
I
We've
just don't want
done
to fuck
that.
off on yeah I mean it's so fun like it's
Yeah.
so fun
It's the funnest
and
thing. But
yeah
like
yeah
where you're
truly
at,
I love doing it but I think it would just be too distracting because stand up is so addictive uh and like once I start doing it regularly
That's
just what
it.
I'll want to.
I
That's
know.
yeah, that's all I'll be thinking
I
about.
know.
That's what I want to do. So like, yeah, it's just better if I,
Yeah.
you know, look at this one thing. But I've been doing that. And I don't know what else. I mean, it's really just been that pretty much. I just listened to an Usher album, so I got that. Yeah,
You just have smooth
uh,
grooves in the back of your head right now.
it's yeah, it's such a funny. I like I read an interview with him recently, uh, and you know it's most certainly like a PR related. I don't know what's going on in his life
Okay.
in regards to like releasing an album, but like I still just read it because I don't know. It's fascinating. But I was like, yeah, I should listen to. I used to like him a lot when I was younger, and I just listened to an album again, and it was good. But it is a funny, you know, Thursday afternoon, just guy alone in his apartment, just
Just jamming out.
listening to like the sexiest shit you can imagine. Yeah, so um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's been it with me. How about you?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for saying that you like that my idea, my concept, and that I'm doing this at all. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, of
I think that's
course.
what I was getting at, what you kind of said about your own views and self-confidence in something that you do. It took me so long to be like, can I even pull this off by myself? You know
Mm.
what I mean? With just
Yeah.
guests and doing everything myself. And that's what I've been immersed in. I have not been at open mics. I've been researching different stuff and
Wow.
doing the editing and doing all this and living a life and trying to pay bills, working a
Well,
part-time job and stuff.
I know. Yeah, yeah, me too. It's like it's like I almost you know, I guess that is a huge chunk of my life. So it's worth mentioning it, but I'm just like uh when it's stuff that I'm like doing that's with people I know from comedy, like with my friends and all that. I'm like, I shouldn't mention it because I'm gonna like rain on the parade. Let me just, it's like I don't want to think about school.
No.
Um, but yeah, that's great. Also, can you hear me? All right.
Yes. Yeah, you sound
Okay.
fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Uh
just wanted to make sure that I was loud enough. I also I always get like people are like, oh, you're. I mean, I think I'm just quiet in general, but like, uh, yeah, I think any sort of online broadcast type thing sounds like I'm across the room a lot of the time. So I
well,
just
you have
wanted to make
a
sure.
little bit of that sound, but so many people have done it where they have that don't have a mic. It doesn't, you
Okay,
know.
I can get one. I have a small
Uh,
mic that might be better.
it's
Okay,
up to you if you want to get it on the break, that's fine, or
sure. Yeah, yeah,
whatever. Um, Surprisingly, I kind of just like as long as my sound sounds good, since it's my podcast, I don't whatever. People can shred it online and be like, this sounded shit for some of the
sure.
guests. Like that, I don't think they would do that because that's not my listeners.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we're a little more chill than that.
That's
Um,
good. Nice.
yeah.
That's cool though that you're like so uh you're researching just like topics to talk about on here. Is that it? Is that like
Yeah, I mean, like I've always been into alternatively weird stuff anyway. I already have a
yeah?
ton of weird knowledge and random stuff that I've just been drawn to. So I've started learning about electricity more
Wow. Okay.
because we're so electricity based.
Yeah.
And I go through a lot of different things with
Interesting.
like the way people would describe God or spirituality or that type of thing. I go into a lot of where I try to start to form hypothesis about our energy. It's the exact same electricity that runs, back and forth,
Yeah.
and just the enmeshment of our energies.
Hmm.
That's a large basis of it. There's so many more
Wow.
topics I like to expand on, but
It's amazing though. Yeah, that's a really like I know pretty much nothing about that, but I do find it really fascinating and like I've heard people talk about it here and there. But I mean that that's yeah, it's like how you like when you get shocked, when you like,
Exactly.
touch,
I've been
it's like,
shocked.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're a conductor,
Yeah. Like when people get
right?
tased and stuff.
Yeah.
Causes involuntary bodily functions and stuff.
Yeah, it's funny to be surprised. Whoa, that's crazy. You shot a taser at me and you electrocuted me? Wow, I must be. But yeah, that is
Yeah.
does that have anything to do with, like, when people do the grounding exercises, like when
Mm-hmm.
they walk
Mm-hmm.
barefoot on the grass, is that
Yeah.
related in any way to?
I would imagine that the vibrations from the Earth's inner core, the
Mhm.
frequency that generates the heat and everything that's in there, that's some kind of a machine that's not man made. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's its
Hmm.
own thing, radiates outward as we're standing on it. It always does that. They say that's why that's good to walk in grass, go
Hmm.
outside and do the grounding and stuff. And because you directly have a connection through your skin, has open pores,
Yeah.
and you're just
Right.
absorbing that because everything radiates energy all the time at its own frequency. The
Right.
earth itself, the matter that the dirt, you know what I mean? The rocks,
Yeah. Yeah.
you, I, everything that's inorganic. I don't know if it's based on the frequency that comes out of the cord that's plugged into it or
Hmm.
if that's a separate thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. And a lot of it's
Yeah.
metaphysics, which I like because you can't argue it. You can just go, well, that's interesting. But like
Wow.
the more I learn, it seems like I know I just read something the other day. I just send it to myself for an article for like reading for this kind of stuff. The
Yeah.
headline was and the way I describe our consciousness is like I feel like it's a web where we're all
Hmm.
interconnected in this giant like spider web. It's not quite there, but it is. And if you walk through it, you walk through a ton of everything around you touches you.
Wow.
Um, so they just put an article out and it was like scientists, basically quantum physics, physicists and stuff, were looking at it and calling what I say web, they were starting to call like foam, a foam
Whoa.
basically that
Huh.
exists between like so we're always all touching energetically and through the energy that leaves your brain too,
That's
particularly.
crazy.
I know
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like when I used to you do what the collective unconscious is.
Hmm.
Okay, you know
Hmm.
the idea. So I always
Yeah.
imagine that as like your thoughts leave your head and they kind of go up like your soul when you die, just for some reason,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because like you think that's above us. But then
Hmm.
now I'm thinking it's probably just down here with gravity too on Earth, like maybe in different planets and universes, wherever multiverses,
Hmm.
the gravity doesn't push down the thought consciousness onto the level of the planet where I think we might be at here. And which is why people's negative thoughts kind of radiate outward and become this like think of the pink
Yes.
slime in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Uh-huh.
it's like an invisible that and if it's all condensed down because gravity affects thoughts too because they have particles, there's quantum science that proves that thoughts like leave your body and have atoms and energy and stuff basically.
Yeah.
So if it's being on another planet, maybe it's looser and it's more open and it doesn't
Oh
have
wow.
all the human condition that we have here potentially.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it's interesting because it feels like only in the past couple of years, it seems like, and this could be, I mean, I have no idea. Like, it's more of like I can't explain it, but I'm fine with that. But anytime I'm like in a place or I'm like with a person or a couple people, and uh, it's like you get like a quote unquote, like you get a bad vibe, or it's like, oh, it feels nice in here. It's like people are happy or whatever. It's like I feel that a little bit more, and it's like I can sense, or not necessarily sense, but I just like feel that um that's radiated like throughout the space we're in more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I
No, you
am
accurately
just like,
described you're on the accurate edge of someone who doesn't know as much of the science and has been in so many more experiences that I
yeah,
have personally where I know exactly what you mean.
yeah,
I'm sure people
yeah,
can relate.
right, yeah. It's an interesting, yeah,
Like one time I had a really spiritual friend with me at Helium in the bar
mhm,
area. I don't remember when it was, last year sometime, just hanging out. You know what I mean? She's just in town. Let's go. And like we were sitting there and everything was fine, whatever. And then out of nowhere, she just turns to me and she goes, I don't know. I want to leave here. I just got really bad vibes. And then like I hadn't noticed it, but as soon as she said it, I kind of just like it hit me and it was just like the energy had just changed.
Wow.
And I go, yeah, let's go like at least outside and whatever, go
Yeah.
different move, like change the scenery, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
But I felt it. I felt like you feel like a tide change in the ocean.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's wild. It does because it's not the same experience as like, you know, uh, something crossing your mind and just like some catastrophe crossing your mind or
A thought,
whatever.
just a passing
Yeah,
thought, or even about the
yeah.
space where you're in. If you go, you see someone, you go, oh, that person, I hate talking to them, or whatever. Like
Yeah, right.
that's a
Yeah,
passing
right. I
thought
know.
about a negative experience. Whereas
Right.
you're probably going to say, like,
Um, yeah, it's just like more than that or something. Uh,
some
yeah.
people might say that's autism. Some people might call you an empath. A little bit of both.
Yeah, I don't know,
I
man.
myself
I
dabble on
like
the spectrum.
yeah. Wait, how long have you known?
I just have always, I don't know, felt like anyone around me, whatever they were experiencing, I could feel it or taste it or smell it if they're telling me a story about it.
Wow. Okay.
And like, someone tells me a story about how they were throwing up somewhere, all of a sudden I'll start to get like sick to my stomach. Now that could, some people
Whoa.
could say it's really strong power of suggestion. Like I really have a strong, you know,
Hmm.
but also it's a reaction too. It's like a visceral kind of thing where like,
Yeah.
uh, but like I've really been working on ever since my transplant, ever since my kidney transplant in 2020. Uh, I work on expanding those feelings and making them more uh, prevalent because it's like if we're here to have this 3D experience where we have these bodies and we can have these sensations,
Hmm.
like how it feels when you're like love someone or like and you can feel it.
Yeah.
It's like what else are we here living for?
Yes.
You
Yes,
know?
for sure. Absolutely.
And
Uh, yeah.
so speaking
Wow.
of speaking of living or not,
Yeah.
I believe
Right.
you have a story for me.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't know exactly. I mean, it's supposed to just be like, I mean, I guess it's a weird story just because,
We're gonna find
you
out
know,
because
yeah, all right.
that's what we're talking
Well,
about for the next 20 minutes here.
all right, cool. It's also, I think it's also sort of related to what we were just talking about, which is strange. But
It's
it
actually, I'll
wasn't.
actually pause you and just say that's one of my favorite topics and kind of the way I describe what I like people to bring here, which is synchronicity.
Oh
It's when
yeah,
two
yeah.
unrelated external events correspond and you have a mental or physical reaction to that.
Wow. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's another. Yeah. It's funny. It's like I can't tell. I mean, I suppose that's. I don't know. It's like, am I just lazy that I am noticing these things, but then I'm just like, well, good enough for me. I don't need to.
No, that's all you're supposed to
I
do.
don't
That's
need
all you're
to
supposed to
probe.
do.
I don't need to probe deeper. Uh, but
It's just
yeah,
Easter eggs in the game.
yeah, that's a good way to put it. Wow. Yeah, the what the like Costco version of Metal Gear Solid that is my life.
On the discount rack after Christmas.
um, but yeah, so the story is related to, I mean, what I said to you in the text was it's related to me, uh, I guess considering killing myself, but it wasn't. It's like it's not a sad story, which I don't know if it can be or not, but it truly wasn't like born out of a depression or like a crazy event or a crazy negative event, but it was what happened, or at least how it started, was I was at a day job I had years ago, and it was it was just like a temp job, and it was like an office where you know was like one of a few people there. So I just like didn't see a lot of people. I was just like by myself a lot. Uh, Sometimes, it was just a desk job. So I
Yep.
would, you know, um, either sit at a desk in like silence or listen to some music or something. Uh, but I just had a lot of time to myself, I guess. And I went to the bathroom, and then on my walk back, I mean, and it's a similar thing. I don't think it was like, provoked necessarily um, by any like interaction I had that day or any conversation I had. Maybe on account of the stuff that I had been like listening to or reading, but it was not like recent, you know.
What was in those
Um,
headphones, Charles? You're listening to Morbid
yeah,
Angel or something.
I know. It wasn't even that, and it wasn't even something that was related to like it was more than an idea that I had that was like more, it was like a feeling that, and like, the feeling I had was it really did. I know I sound like a fucking whack job saying this, but uh it was really like I had this feeling of being, I was like, okay, everything out in the universe is also inside of me right now. So I'm just the same as everything else that's out here. Um, I'm just made up of all this stuff and whatever. And I think that like that gave me I just felt like, I guess it was like a lightness or something. I just stopped. uh I certainly didn't take the rest of like my afternoon or whatever seriously, to the point of like, oh, it, this is very, it wasn't like I was morbid before that, but it was like, this is more fun living this way and feeling like this, because it felt like I don't know how to put it, where there was like, I mean, I guess like wasn't as serious or something, or it didn't seem like anything, didn't seem like whatever I was going through mattered that much, based on whatever was communicated to me. Um, so I had that feeling, it felt pretty good. And then I left work, and um, I went home. I was living with my aunt and uncle at the time, and they lived outside of the city. And then uh, I was driving back in for an open mic or something, and I remember even when I was driving, I was like, it still felt like there was like a silliness to. I was like, all of this is all. I guess it's like similar to what being on mushrooms feels like. I've only done mushrooms like once or twice, and it's been a pretty light dose. So, but it didn't feel like this. But it's kind of similar, where it was just like wasn't really taking much seriously. It's like all the stuff that I'm doing is fun. I'm enjoying this. And I remember like driving, and like I was like fucking with people on the road, like not, like people were like honking at me and stuff, and I was like catching, just like fucking with them. I was like, dude, I'm gonna get killed. I should stop. Like, it was like, I was just doing shit like that. Um, but anyway, I finished doing that shit, and then I came into the city, and I parked like kind of far away from where I was going, and uh I was crossing the 30th Street Bridge, I guess, or one of the bridges over
Okay.
the Schuylkill River. And yeah, it was like I was like, as I was approaching it, I was like, well, based on whatever I was feeling earlier, where I was like, where I felt this like kind of connectedness to the rest of the world, and the it didn't matter. Basically, I was like, it doesn't really matter if I live or die, because whatever's inside of me is out there still. So like I could just jump in. It was like the middle of winter too, so it was like
You're
I'd
like,
probably die if I was like, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I considered it longer than felt normal, where I was just like, uh this is a very comic, very depressed comic
Yeah,
statement.
like
I considered killing myself longer than felt normal.
it was just like no reaction from me. I'm just like, yep,
Yeah,
I get
I know.
it.
Yeah, so yeah, I was just like, I was like, yeah, I could do this, and uh probably wouldn't like, but none of this felt sad, which was like, I was just
Okay.
like, wouldn't make that much of a difference if I did it. Obviously, people would be upset that I'm friends with and my family and everything. Like, um, but like in the larger sense of like the whole universe,
Yeah. It's
it's not that big of a deal.
you're like, I am
Um,
insignificant.
yeah, yeah. Um, but
I would definitely get that text that you died and be like, oh, damn, and then go back to playing Call of Duty or whatever I was doing. Not Charles. Fuck. He was a good guy. Like,
yeah, man. Yeah, well, that's also, it's like, I wonder if I mean, yeah, it's a it's just a weird
okay, so like
yeah.
take me back to that beginning of that day for you. You were like just in one of these like routine like fight club just job energies where you're just like
Yeah.
going in, just punching the buttons, doing whatever you're
Mhm.
doing to
Yeah,
just
it
get your
was.
work done every
Mhm.
day in and out. And you might
Yeah.
have like, was there times you had been like, ever before you had ever been like, God, I just wish I would die so I didn't have to work this job even? Or is that like
No, I don't think it was anything related to like, I had no, I was like, I felt fine,
you were fine? You were
like
fine all day
everything.
up and going to your job.
Yeah,
You were fine. And then you
you
did make
know,
it. You were like, okay, you left and felt good.
yeah, yeah. It wasn't yeah, I really, I know it, I guess it sounds weird, but
No,
there
it's
was
just that it's just an
never.
intrusive thought then.
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean, it's like, I think it was really like uh the the idea of doing that, or like the idea of killing myself or whatever. um I don't even know if I'd kill it, just like doing anything to like my my like body, my, like anything like that, just to prove that this,
Doesn't
this,
matter.
yeah, yeah, this like temporary thing is not.
That's it. It's
I
temporary.
also I also remember, because it was the winter, and I remember uh this only, whatever this feeling was, only lasted a few hours, but uh
It's
I'm
pretty
pretty
long.
sure. Yeah, yeah, it is long, it is very long. um but I remember on like a smaller scale, I remember like going outside like during the day afterwards, and I think I got the flu like a couple of days later, and it was because I was like going outside without a jacket, and I was just like, whatever, like, I really felt like removed from. I was like, yeah, I'm cold, but I don't know, I can get it's just, it's just it was a really strange feeling that I was like, you know, bodily, like physically, I was having a reaction to cold weather, but I just wasn't.
It didn't. It's
I was
just,
like, yeah, I just don't have to. I don't have to let the thought bother me. It was, but clearly it came back for me, and I got sick, and I think it was
yeah.
because of that.
You're like, this is my karma for not killing myself
Yeah, right. Yeah,
that
yeah,
day. I should
yeah.
have done it. Damn
Yeah, I mean, really,
it.
yeah, dude, I got
Stupid
so
body.
sick. It's just crazy. It was like, I think it was truly the worst I ever got the flu.
Oh
Like,
shit.
a few days later. I mean, other than like the only thing, I got COVID a couple of months ago, and I had it really bad.
Oh.
And that was the only thing that it was like, this feels like when I had the flu though. I
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah.
people, don't
No.
want you to say that, but it's like that's what it felt like.
So do you all right, all right, so look, we're going to talk about like thoughts and reverberation of thoughts throughout the universe. What we were just talking about, collective unconscious. Do you think that because you stood there and thought that for that 4, 5, 6, whatever hours that day,
Mhm.
you were like, the thing I try to explain to people about that is like thought manifestation, basically ideas are don't ever think what you don't want, like because you're just you remove the words like I don't want, and you're just saying the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing that gets picked up by the vibrations that surround us. So I think, like, do you
Yeah.
think it was because you were thinking like dead, kill, dead, whatever, even once or
Hmm.
twice, if I die, what if you were like, because then you were like, oh, if I bet if you thought for a second, like, if I jump in this water, it could just be really cold and shock me and I might not die right away. And then am
Yeah.
I going to drown or am I going to die from hypothermia or whatever? You have those thoughts. I
Right.
think. And then, so all those thoughts go through your head. And then within how long did you say? 3 days, 2, 3 days?
Oh no, it was like hours where whatever that
No,
feeling
no.
I
When did you get
had.
sick?
Oh,
Right after that.
that's a great question. I mean, I guess it was, I don't know, less than a week.
Oh, see, so days. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it like that's what I'm like. That's where I go with stuff now. It's like it's not funny at all. It's very like to me. That's the weird part I like to get to of what if because we create our reality with our thoughts, and so if you're always thinking something bad, bad things are going to happen. So, but you're usually not like that. You're usually pretty easygoing, I feel like. And like you said, you don't ponder suicide on a regular basis. Uh,
Yeah.
in that regard, in a way that we all maybe at one time go, God, I wish I could die right now, or something in a dramatic
Right.
way where you're not serious. And I have intrusive thoughts. I have actual those. I used to get those all the time. Where if I was at the top of a tall building, I'd be like, I should probably just leap off here right now. Like
Yeah.
just because it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, just because I just my body just wants to hurl off and be gone from here, kind of. um,
Yeah.
but I think it contributes to then maybe that energy of like your body, just the energy around you was then death, like deathly.
That's really fascinating. And haven't I haven't thought about that, but yeah. Um, yeah, yeah, it
Right.
could be.
That's where I like
Yeah, I
to
don't
go.
know.
That's where I like to
I
take
know.
things. I like to get weird.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, it's I
It's
mean, it's
not
a
you could totally go, no, that she just made that up and that's bullshit.
no.
But
I don't know. I mean,
right,
yeah, look, I truly don't know, and it's like it's a connection that I've never made before, but
like that.
no, I mean, yeah,
Cool. That's cool. I like to get dissect things that happen to people here. That's because I've been through so many things myself
yeah,
that, and I know so many weird um intricacies about that stuff. I
mhm.
feel like, and
Yeah, that is the whole like the whole idea related to like speaking into existence your reality is really fascinating to me. Um, and I again, it's a thing that I don't know a ton about it, and I've heard people talk about it, and yeah, it's like I understand, like it makes sense to me. You know,
yeah,
I
everybody
can
does it.
understand
Everybody
why.
does
Yeah.
it consciously or unconsciously.
Hmm.
It's when you become more conscious of the way you think things,
Yeah.
like when you see things tied together. Like a week you might have shown up somewhere and thought something really happy instead of like if you go do something really joy filled, then you, like you said, like stand up. That's why stand up is addicting, because it's
Hmm.
very joyous and
Yeah.
uproarious and ruckus and all the fun things in life that you don't get to do all the time. And
Hmm.
you get to control this energy while you're on stage of everyone in the room if you're doing it well. And that in itself is a power trip that's like addicting. So
Right.
but then I noticed, like you said, like you'll just keep doing more stand up because it's not necessarily always the addiction. It's uh the creation of more joy in your life that becomes addicting.
Yeah. 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 I think it's that, and then there's also, yeah, I mean, I guess what it comes down to is joy. It's just like even when I'm not like just going out to comedy related stuff, when I'm just around comedians, I feel free
Mhm.
because I can talk about whatever I want around them, you know, and
Yeah.
it's like there's yeah, there's like less pressure to fit into something. Uh so I just am like it's just nice to be around that
Yeah.
type of environment because it's like
And
that's
the
who I'd like to
energy.
be. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're always up for a good time. Even as
I
we're
know.
standing there going, well, I want to kill myself. My day job sucks. Why can't I do comedy full time? Why can't I get paid to podcast? But also, let's have fun.
I know,
Do
yeah. Well, yeah, and it's like I guess there is a similar there's a connection a little bit there because it's like you do have all these things that you're like really you wish for or that you have all these complaints or the stuff that you're like unsatisfied with. Um, but then when you get to be around like the comedy thing, you're like, well, I don't know, fuck all that. So
wipe
I'll
it
just,
away.
yeah, none of it really matters because here's the thing that I would like to do. But
Yep. All right. And what I would like to
yeah,
do is take a break now. We're going to get cut off in a second. I will
let's do
see
it.
you here shortly.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
okay. Excuse us. Be serious, Charles. We're back from the
Yes.
break with either an
Focus.
even more serial killer looking or just less pale somehow. The sun went down. When Charles really comes to life at night. We've always wondered why he looks so young. I'm not saying he's a vampire, but I'm not saying he's not a vampire. He's a vampire.
Yeah. It's yeah, my my passion for trench coats isn't doing me any favors.
All those blood smoothies you order lately. It's suspicious.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. I should start. Yeah, that'd be actually maybe I'll start wearing a cape to do stand up, or just
yeah.
maybe just to hang out. Maybe I'll
I
just wear a
mean,
cape out.
that's a look. That's a look. It's definitely, it would be a really good running gag.
Yeah, I kind of yeah. There is something in it. Like I think this is probably I, with as the years go by in my life, I'm probably getting like less funny and more annoying. So like that sounds perfect to me. Is just wearing a cape out to bother people. I don't know why that makes me laugh, but yeah.
You know what?
Well, we'll see.
You're so vampy though. I feel like you would show up and just if you just didn't say anything, if you're just like just rolled in cape with
Right.
like the little high neck on it, people would be like, "Yo, I like this look. What's this look?"
Yeah.
Definitely be they wouldn't want to offend you. Everybody's too woke now. They wouldn't want to be
Yeah,
like
true.
shame your vampire identity.
That's a good. Yeah,
I mean,
maybe I can make the switch.
it's look, you're right one step away aesthetically.
I know. I like, yeah. It's funny, even before, yeah. I mean, maybe it's a blessing that I wasn't able to, but before I signed on, I was like, it's kind of dark. Maybe I'll just light a candle. And I was like, I have a fucking light. Let me just turn that. Yeah, so maybe I should chill. But yeah, yeah, it just the way it presents is always
It's funny. All
interesting.
right, look, we're gonna get
I know.
darker. We're gonna get even darker. We're gonna bring up an article I had for you.
Awesome.
That was related to your uh article.
Great.
Oh, 10 bizarre suicides that will horrify you.
Wow.
Yes. Obviously, we don't want to endorse this is trigger warning. No, we're not endorsing suicide in a fun way,
Yeah.
potentially. I would honestly
Yeah. Yeah. By no means I like endorse suicide. I think this was just
like
you
if
know, it was like an extraordinary feeling that I had that was unrelated to it. And I think just based on what I knew of like my own existence and all that, that that's probably just where my mind went. I don't think it was uh it wasn't I don't know. I mean, someone else who didn't have my life would probably have a completely different reaction to that.
yeah, and then some people might go, "Oh, that's minimizing people's experience with depression and etc." And like I've had people close
Right.
to me that lost their life that way and other, it's a tragic thing when it does happen, and we need to get to the root cause of it. And that's why I asked you, were you having any kind of like weird thoughts before that, just to like
Yeah,
unpack it a little bit. And when you say no, I understand. Then you can say, well, that's an intrusive thought. That's okay. That's also another thing that
right.
happens to people. But we're not gonna get dark in that way. We're gonna actually just go over these.
Yeah, yeah.
Shocking. All right, number 10, suicide by volcano on February 11th.
Yo, really spiking the football.
That's a good that's a good turn of phrase. That's a good turn of phrase. I like that. On February 11th, that's my sister's birthday,
Oh,
1933, student Kyoko Matsumoto took her life by jumping into the Mount Mihara crater, Japan, from the
wow.
platform that allowed viewing of the molten lava below. She died from a combination of the fall and the lava itself, which ranged in temperature from 1450 degrees Fahrenheit to
Oh my
2200 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that's crazy
God.
because I burnt myself on like the oven the other day,
Mm-hmm.
like a
Yes,
pan,
I
whatever. That's
know.
not more than 350, and I was crying. All
It's unbelievable. That's
right,
gotta be wow.
let's. It's a lesbian tragedy. Matsumoto had fallen for a fellow female student at Tokyo's Jisan College, which was forbidden
Oh my
in
God.
1933. That's not that long ago. That's less than 100
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
like the draw, like the rendition of it.
yeah,
It seems like Victorian or something.
it
But yeah,
does. It
33
does.
is yeah.
Although a few suicides had taken place from the observation platform over the crater, Kyoko's death captured the attention of the public. So a fence was erected to stop people, but 619 still managed to break through the barrier.
Whoa.
Like when you want to do it, you want to Japan suicide. Isn't that where the suicide forest is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when that's I mean,
Yeah.
it's the living conditions over there, they say, and like when you live in the cities and stuff, especially, are so compact and cramped,
Hmm.
and you're just literally that worker ant, but you don't even leave. It's like COVID all the time. It's just like
I
we're just,
know. Yeah. Japan is a really not that I know a ton about it, but
it's
it
just such
does
a
I
small island
right.
with a
And
big
it
population on it in the cities,
hmm
especially.
yeah, and it's very like career oriented.
Hmm.
Uh and I think it just, people grind themselves down by trying to get like promotions and all that. And I think it
Yeah,
just,
yeah. That's
leads
what.
to a
And
lot
so I
of
imagine you would want to throw yourself into a volcano, especially if you're gay about it. And that's forbidden in 1933. Uh,
wow, into a
uh-huh.
volcano. That's
Well,
the
into
other
a
thing that
volcano.
is, I
That's
know.
like it's a Romeo and Juliet. It's like crazy. It's like
It really, yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna fucking, this is gonna do it. Like, this is gonna end it. This isn't
Right,
gonna not
yeah.
work. I'm not gonna end up with a deformed face from shooting myself with an old revolver and it not
Right.
working. Try,
Yeah.
try to have the horse pull my head off by tying a rope around it. No, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
All
man.
right, go
I
move past this really
yeah.
horny ad right here.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like,
Whoa.
suicide by router saw. In
This is
2014,
jeez Louise.
In 2014, a 30-year-old carpenter was overdue to return home to his family after the day's work. His brother went to look for him at the carpentry shop where they both worked, found that the young man had killed himself with the router saw, removed the safety cover, and rammed his head into the spinning blade twice. Oh, he didn't get it the first time. He had to back up and do it again.
Whoa, man. Holy shit.
Oh my God,
That's
twice.
the nightmare. That's the nightmare. Oh
No,
my
I
God.
don't like that. Causing two deep parallel cuts. Both of the head wounds,
Oh,
both the
whoa.
head wounds were deep enough to remove sections of the skull and brain tissue from the parietal and occipital lobes. He had no previous mental or medical history indicating thoughts or attempts at suicide, but he had been reported as unusually pensive during his last few days. Oh, Charles, you were pensive.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
just
maybe.
happened out of nowhere. Uh,
Yeah, reading this, I was like, maybe he had the
as the
whatever,
mood
whatever went through
strikes.
my mind.
Oh my God. Okay, let's get off that one. That was a nightmare. That was really the
That's
nightmare, is it didn't work the first time. Suicide by
yeah.
shotgun and
Holy
forest fire.
shit, dude. These
And
people are
and
decisive. Yeah.
the night of March 8th, 2010, in Kingston, Tennessee, Victor Gordon left his home and
Whoa.
walked a quarter of a mile into the woods. He rigged a setup of bungee cords to a fallen tree, securing a shotgun at his head level and enabling him to trigger it when he was ready. He then arranged a bag full of starter logs around the tree. Gordon got into position after igniting the starter logs, and as the fire grew around him, he triggered the shotgun. He
Oh
did
my
a Wile E.
God.
Coyote to himself.
Wow.
Police and firefighters were called when his wife spotted the spreading forest fire behind their house and discovered the grisly scene. Oh, unclear why he chose to die. Let's dig into that. He was just
Well, that
like cabin
yeah.
fever. I don't.
I know it's also such that one's so interesting because it's like it's outwardly destructive as well. You
Yeah,
know, it's like
yeah.
he's killing other, I don't know,
The
like he started
trees, the
forest
trees
fire. Yeah,
alone. I'm an
exactly.
environmentalist. Like, man, what'd the
Right.
forest do to you?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it, there must be
Yeah.
some fury that he, like something.
Demon out there in
Yeah,
the woods
yeah.
got to him. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Because yeah, right, because it's
Yeah, that's insane. And this horny ad is back. All right, listen,
yeah,
athletes, we'll
30
talk later.
athletes reveal
Um,
everything. Wow.
sorry. Next, we got suicide by chloroform and razor. Okay, I like these combos.
I
We
know, I
had
was just gonna
fire
say so.
and
Yeah.
all right. Horace Wells was a dentist in the 1840s who wanted to help people suffering. They
Whoa.
say the dentists kill themselves all the time. It's like they
Yeah, I
have to
was
look
literally
into
just gonna.
the uncanny valley of your throat or whatever.
Is
Um,
that really why?
I think it's they have to look down that hole. Somebody has a joke about that. I forget who it is, but I've
Whoa.
always thought it was just because they have to see through your other hole the other direction. Like I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's yeah,
but
I was literally gonna bring that up as well.
what about Dennis?
Just yeah, just dentists have the high suicide rate.
I don't know. I never bothered
Um,
to look it up. I should have looked it up when I kind of glanced through this article, but it's interesting. I might have to look that up for just personal. I assumed it was because they just see into your soul.
yeah, I mean, yeah, very well
Because
could just
everyone
be
hates
seeing
them,
something.
fights them all the
Yeah.
time. Like,
Well, well, that's an interesting. That also kind of makes me think of like, because yeah, people don't like going to the dentist. So it's like if we're meant like what we were talking about earlier with like bringing like an energy of you have like a negativity
so
about
the
you.
person's laying there the whole time going, "You
If
fuck, you fucking fuck, stop
yeah,
digging at my tooth. It hurts."
yeah,
Like
literally you have
mentally,
a
they're thinking it
yeah.
really hard because you can't say shit.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
and you
your
have
thoughts are
yeah.
coming out rapid fire. Like the few
Hmm?
times people have heard my thoughts, we're not going to talk about it, the whole story right now. It's been because I was thinking so hard.
Whoa, wow,
Yeah. So, anyway, let's talk about Horace here and his
yeah.
dentistry. And he was in the 1840s. All right, that's already like I think of. I learned recently for this podcast that the what do you call it? The thing that girls put in their stuff to stop the babies. It's like metal. It's
Oh,
really painful. My brain is not working. Um,
IUD.
IUD. Yes, I should know that.
Yeah.
It's not my concern. That's it was invented in like 1875.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. That was my reaction. Like, oh my
Wow.
God, those poor women that they were experimenting on, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
So,
thinking
so
about that
this guy
now
was a
because like,
dentist in the 1840s, 30 years before that. Okay. He
wow.
wanted to help people suffering the pain and decay of rotting teeth. However, he was on the edge of quitting after inflicting even greater pain from tooth extractions, which in those days were conducted without anesthetic.
Oh my
Ah,
God.
no ether, nothing. After witnessing an acquaintance who was high on nitrous oxide or laughing gas cut his leg and react with
Oh,
curiosity rather than pain, Wells saw a way out of his dilemma. Volunteering
wow.
as test subject to have a troublesome wisdom tooth removed, Wells took nitrous oxide from a pig's bladder and had a friend conduct the procedure. Feeling minimal pain, Horace Wells celebrated. He continued to use the nitrous oxide method, and once he mastered the dosage, Wells demonstrated his method to dental peers in 1845, but the mixture was off and it was only partially successful. It led to many dentists gaining interest in alternative methods using chloroform or ether, which had more side effects but appeared more effective. He continued experimenting on himself and ended up addicted to chloroform.
Holy shit.
Celebrating overly hard on the night of his 33rd birthday. On the night of his, how old are you, Charles? How
I'm 31.
okay, celebrating overly hard on the night of his
So
33rd
it's coming.
birthday. He got
Yeah.
high on chloroform. His view of reality
Dude.
highly distorted. His view of reality highly distorted. Wells grew paranoid and ending throwing sulfuric acid on the faces and arms of two women on the streets of New York. Sent to
Ah,
prison, he requested his shaving kit, which also contained chloroform. On January 24th, 1848, he breathed deeply of his chloroform stash and used the straight razor to just fucking cut the artery in his left thigh.
oh my God.
Oh, that rings home to me because I explain to people all the time when they rewire the kidney, they actually do it through the femoral artery in your leg.
Really?
Yeah, so that's where all my like blood pumps through now instead of like the veins that come down through your chest, like where you're born.
Wow.
Yeah. So if I took a cut to the femoral artery or a bullet or something, you could die from that anyway, from a
Right.
femoral artery.
Yeah.
But, so
Oh my
so
God.
he just bled out in prison.
Whoa. Dude,
Yeah.
that is crazy. Imagine
That's
being addicted to chloroform. Like you're just out at a bar and it's like, excuse, let me step outside for, yeah, just knock yourself out. That's crazy. I mean, I guess the fact that I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
that's
yeah, they
nuts.
probably just like, yeah, you went outside and just sat down out front and they, oh, he's drunker than a skunk, this guy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
walking
really.
by,
I mean, I
you
guess
kick
if you
his
do it,
boot, you
yeah.
kick his foot real quick to see if he's alive. And he's like, nah, he ain't dead. Keep walking in
Damn, dude.
1848, Damn. All right.
Wow.
His view of his reality distorted. That's what, so like I think like I keep thinking back to your story. It's like you had a distorted view of reality for a while. You went, doesn't, it changed. It doesn't matter. It's nothingness. Our existence is nothingness. And
Yeah.
this guy went super paranoid
Yeah.
and threw acid on some lady's face.
I know. The
Like,
the thing I will say, I'm sure I said this before, but it's like that distorted view was never like there was never any negativity
yeah, yeah,
that I was
no,
feeling, which is just
yeah,
yeah, it's just crazy. But I
just
mean,
distorted.
yeah, yeah, certainly.
We don't know what this guy was thinking. It was just distorted. But all
Right.
right, let's see here. Ooh, I
Damn.
have often thought about this, not on myself. I've never thought about this on myself for the record, but I've always thought
Hmm.
about, has anybody done this? Suicide by chainsaw. I like just the vague house with like
Oh,
the
it's
overgrown
so
backyard or
scary.
like apartment building or whatever it is. Like David Feihal nearly succeeded in completely beheading himself with a chainsaw on the night of July 5th,
Yo.
2008.
Oh my goodness.
He rigged up an electric Black& Decker chainsaw to the leg of a table in his home, taped the trigger in the on position, and then plugged it into a timer that he used for his lights. David, that's
Whoa.
ingenious, actually.
Yeah.
Consuming a small volume of alcohol. Well, I would be consuming a lot more than a small, I gotta tell you. He
Yeah.
laid down. That's like, I'll take a shot before a set sometime just to break the edge of my
I
nerves and be
know.
like,
I was
what
just
are we
gonna say.
talking about here? Give me a bottle of fucking moonshine.
Yeah, for real.
Like I would be
That's such
dead
a
first.
funny,
All
yeah.
right. So he laid down under the table, covered his throat with a thin piece of cardboard to protect from nicks before the saw activating. This guy thought this through
Yeah.
a lot. Okay. Because I would not think of that. The like first where you would maybe go like this and then turn because you
Right,
felt
right.
it nick you and place the blade of the chainsaw on the
Oh my
cardboard. Then he
God.
waited. Once the timer tripped, the chainsaw came to life and carved 3/4 of the way through File's neck before becoming too clogged with material from his t-shirt.
My
Oh
God.
no. David Files
That's
says,
a
oh,
that's
oh,
that's an ad for whatever t-shirt brand.
yo, Haynes, get on this. Instead
Yeah.
of the tag-free itching, we want no
I know.
suicide.
Literally, this will
Suicide
stop
proof.
you from having your head cut off.
This episode's getting pulled from every side. um
This is
David
all my
Files
fault. I'm sorry.
look, this article was on the internet when I just googled
That's true.
research terms. Okay.
Yes.
We're just reading an
Yes.
article here and observing
That's
and
right.
speculating upon it.
Hmm.
um his suicide was in protest and pressure to leave his home, which was going to be demolished. Oh, he did like the Better Call Saul, like you're not going to take me alive.
Oh my
uh
God.
his entire block in on Bowman Road in Bishopstoke, England, had been emptied of all other residents who accepted payment to leave their houses to make way for future construction. It's classic, tale as old as time. File had
Yeah.
refused 11 previous offers of payment and alternative living arrangements from his housing association. He had the mental capacity to refuse
Wow.
11 offers of payment and living, and
I
then
know.
but the fortitude to go ahead with this suicide plan.
Yeah, that's incredible.
He
Like,
really wanted to protest. He was protesting his landlords. I commend him a little bit, but
how, yeah, I was
this
just gonna
is
say
this is definitely
to
goof troop. You know, despite
goof
his
troop.
actions,
I
his
know.
block was still demolished. Just David.
Oh God.
He said nothingness. He said it's nothing. It doesn't matter. This existence doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. Some people really can't deal with change. I don't know.
Yeah,
Suicide
man.
by Cobra. What? Is this the kid? This is crazy.
Wow.
Okay. I got in a parking lot. Austin's crazy already. In a parking lot in North Austin, Texas on July 14th, 2015, Grant Thompson was discovered in a state of cardiac arrest. An employee of a pet store with a lifelong love of animals, Thompson was found with multiple bites from a monocle cobra that he had taken from the store. The young man showed no typical defensive wounds common in snake attacks, nor any indication he had pulled away from the striking cobra. The venom of a monocle cobra causes full body paralysis, then cessation of the lung's ability to function within just 30 minutes. The cobra escaped the car from a door Thompson had left open for that purpose, but rescue workers still had to contend with a viper and numerous tarantulas inside the
Jesus,
vehicle.
dude.
The cobra
Whoa.
was found dead on a nearby street days later after being run over by a car. The young man had driven
Mm.
more than 70 miles from his home before stopping in the parking lot where he removed the snakes and tarantulas from their cages and enacted his plan.
Wow.
So he
That's an interesting
did he
one.
do like Pee-wee's Big Adventure when he like runs out and like saves the
Yeah.
snakes from like the fire? He was like, "Get them out of the cages."
Oh, true. Yeah, maybe it was
Or
like
like Jay and Silent Bob when they like free the test monkeys, like they want to like help the animals, but he like also was like, wait a minute, I need your help first.
yeah. Yeah.
Come here, monocle
This is
cobra.
uh-huh.
He has a little
That's
thing.
great. I can't believe
Is that the kind that they do?
yeah, yeah.
Did he
Yeah.
did he flute it into killing him? Did they find a fucking wooden
This
flute in the
is
car?
crazy. I
This
can't
is
believe that a pet store sells such a
that.
lethal
Austin's
cobra.
crazy. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna say I haven't been there yet, but Austin's crazy. I can just tell. Um,
Yeah, for real. I mean, that's like buying a gun.
Now it almost seems like the defensive ones thing, maybe he just was like crazy and thought he could really control these snakes and like take them home and be their like master and just steal them and like never come back to the pet store.
Yeah,
You think he was gonna do like a move like
right.
that and just like I don't know. I don't know how they
Mhm.
got out and then like just have
Yeah.
snakes at his crib on the couch just chilling,
Yeah. Yeah.
hissing at
And
your
yeah,
guests.
yeah, for
Down,
real.
Seymour. Like,
You become like the evil Ace Ventura
yeah,
with all
exactly. Like
these
so you could
lethal
kill people
animals.
with your pets
Yeah.
if you want. I
It's
don't
the
know.
the
I guess
Venom
you
version
know,
of
maybe
Ace
they don't
Ventura.
they wanted to say suicide instead of accidental just because he didn't have defensive wounds.
Yeah, this is a straight. Yeah, I mean
It's strange.
that it's strange that it was ruled a suicide if there's like I don't know. Yeah, it's just a weird one to
Yeah,
classify
maybe
like that.
whatever. They just went up.
Um,
I don't know. They're
I don't
reaching.
know. I
Either
mean,
the article's
yeah.
reaching or the people that did that investigation of that body are reaching. I'm not sure which it is. Suicide by molten
Yeah,
iron. Ooh, I. Let's
dude.
see.
Extremely hot deaths
Hot deaths are
suck.
like, dude, it's so much worse because I always think I would rather freeze to death just out in the cold, like a hobo with a bottle of liquor. And your body just shuts down. But I don't
Ugh.
know. God. So on November 6th, 1854. Wow. Okay. 28-year-old George Towler, who worked at the Farnley Iron Company, chose a rather thorough and stunning method of suicide, standing near a furnace filled with 50 tons of molten iron. Towler took a last look around the workplace and then calmly jumped into the liquid metal.
That is
He just terminated out. He just
unbelievable.
goodbye.
I mean,
For iron to melt, it
it's
has to reach
crazy,
temperatures above 2,800 degrees. It was said that all that was able to be
dude.
recovered from the orange hot iron was a portion of charred bone. That was all
Holy
that was remained to
shit.
be buried at the Church of St. Michael in the Farnley district of West Yorkshire, England. Hot deaths.
Damn, dude.
That takes
That
a lot. That takes
is
balls. I wonder if he
I
was
was just
like
gonna say it's like incredibly I don't know.
brave. Honestly brave. We're
Yeah,
not
I
saying suicide is
guess.
brave. We're saying this guy in 1854.
No, it's really just like because it's like it's not instant. That's the thing. It's like with
Your
the I
feet
mean,
feel
I
that.
don't
Your feet
know.
feel that for a second. You feel
Yes.
that before you even get above that barrel because like lava is the same way. If you like just reach, you ever watch those lava turner guys that
Oh yeah.
they tell you like if you hold your arm within 3 feet of it for more than a half a second, you will scorch your skin like third-degree burns.
It's
So
I mean it's like hell
you're
on earth.
burning on the
I
way
can't
down while you're still
imagine.
conscious.
It's so scary.
And like I like to stand next to fires when there's a fire and like toast really close to a fire. I'll stand right
Hmm.
next to one. All my friends like I just turn back and forth. But like you know when
Hmm.
you stand there for too long, all of a sudden you're like, "Ooh, okay, my skin is on fire now.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
my clothes might be melting."
Right.
This guy's
That's
clothes
actually yeah.
definitely
I yeah that, that happened. I was at I guess it's 2 years ago. I was at my friend's house and it was me and him and his sister and we had a like a fire pit and we were sitting outside. uh, my friend's sister borrowed her dad's jacket And he was like, sure, you can borrow my jacket. Just don't, I don't like get it too close to the fire or anything.
Yeah.
She had it over her lap and it burned a hole through it. And it wasn't even that close. It was like, it was,
You know what that was?
no,
That guy spoke that into existence.
wow.
If he
Yeah.
wouldn't have said that, would that butterfly effect trigger those vibrations around that to happen?
Jeez Louise.
I think about that kind of stuff all the time because there's no looking back from jumping in this lava pit, this molten iron.
I know.
But that you can look
It's,
at and go, if he would have just not been that overprotective, okay, my jacket's so important to me. I can't buy another one if it gets messed up. Versus you, versus like, don't you get too close to the fire.
yeah, yeah, true.
It's wherever your focus is. It's whatever your focus is on, it's gonna happen. I'm telling you. Uh,
That's a really interesting,
right?
just like, yeah, just something to,
Something to
you
ponder.
know, yeah, just to keep an eye out for too. Like,
Yeah.
just notice when that kind of stuff
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. And like and watch what you say. Watch how you frame things, you know?
I, yeah,
Because
certainly. Yeah, there's, I think, yeah, it's
don't ever say
just,
what you don't want to happen. That guy said what he didn't want to happen, and all the stupid energetic vibrations around him picked up was jacket on fire. You know? All
yeah,
right.
jeez Louise.
Let's see who else set themselves on fire on this list here. We're getting down to the end. We got number 3, suicide by homemade
Damn.
guillotine. Homemade.
These are all like really
That's insane.
laborious. Yeah,
Laborious.
yeah,
Laborious.
laborious.
After months of dedicated construction work, months, Boyd Taylor committed suicide with an 8x3, 8x3. Like, I've seen sheds bigger than that. Homemade guillotine. Taylor had weighted the angle blade of his guillotine with a paving slab to ensure its lethality.
Oh my
Is
God.
this guy an engineer or what? The blade was raised and tied in place with a wire. An electric jigsaw was connected to a timer that get Black and Decker on some of these endorsements already, will you?
This is
Um,
really like I know it's
an
crazy.
electric
It's
jigsaw
like
was connected to a timer that, when activated, would cut the wire, allowing the blade to fall. A second string was hung in the path of the guillotine blade. The string was connected to a hammer, which would swing down and hit the switch on the timer, turning off the jigsaw after the guillotine had completed its grisly work. He literally
wow.
was like, I'm going to save electricity after I die. This person reaches
It's
deeply to
like
my soul.
I know. Well, yeah, yeah, especially related to electricity. Yeah, this
All
is unbelievable. Like
right.
unbelievable the amount of work. Oh yeah,
A
sorry.
lot. No,
You
that's
go
okay.
on.
I'm not cutting you off, but I just read this next sentence and I went, all right, look, he did it the right way. On
Mm.
January 8th, 2003, Boyd took 12 sleeping pills. That's what you need to
Oh
do
my
with this
God.
stuff where you're setting up a, what do you call it, a Rube Goldberg machine to kill yourself.
Yeah, it is. Like,
uh, to ensure he was deeply
golly.
unconscious and would not move out of position. He then activated the timer and laid down on his bed for the final time. He did it in his bed, in his room. Where did
Whoa.
he do this?
Yeah, what?
I,
Build it
it's,
over his bed?
this is in 2003. It's not like it's 1845 and we got a dirt floor in your bed. It's like a blanket on the ground.
Damn. Imagine going to that guy's bedroom and it's like, oh, you're a full freak. And then it's like, no, I'm just gonna cut my head off in a couple days. It's like, okay. Well, that's crazy, man. I mean, I guess why not be comfortable if you're gonna really go
Look,
for
I
it?
mean, live your truth. Like, get that last bone in too. I totally get it. Like right before I had my surgery, I was like, well, I could die under the knife. Let me have my first one night stand of my whole life.
Yeah, for yes, yes.
I mean, all right,
Amazing.
YOLO, especially when there's a
Yes.
guillotine involved.
Yeah, man. This is
At
I mean, this is like
3:30
so
a.m. He timed it for 3:30 a.m. He wanted to go to the other side, the where
yeah,
the
isn't
dream
there
world
something with
starts. That's where that dream world starts, and
that's what
the
it
veil
is?
is
I
the
just
thinnest.
oh my
It's the
God.
witching hour.
Okay,
It's one of
that's
the
a
witching hours. He wanted to
okay. I didn't
meet the creepy pasta things or whatever.
whoa, dude. This is crazy. I mean,
This
wow.
guy really, this is insane genius, mental tortured, like
Right.
obviously very smart and like probably like a really good like mechanic or like whatever they did for their
I
job,
know.
like to
Yeah,
make all
there's
this stuff at home.
Yeah. And like, I know this is, I'm sure we're on thin ice, but truly no disrespect, but like, and this is, I'm not trying to have like a cheap joke here, but it's like, I admire the attention to detail that this guy's working with. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
it,
Like he was a genius in my mind.
yeah, and I guess that why would that be surprising? It's like
Yeah,
there's tons of people
tortured.
that are there's tons of people that are like this that are probably really good at their jobs that do this, but it's just when it's applied to something as like grisly and pretty horrifying and morbid as this, it's like I guess it's just more noticeable,
Yeah.
because of the nature of what it's used for.
Yeah. When you kind of zoom
Crazy.
out, when you kind of zoom out and like on your own life and go, I'm literally like in the same room with my bed. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Right. It's also kind of like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to not come off as dark with these topics, but I guess it's like this is the last thing. If you're really intending to end your life, and it's like this is the last thing I'm gonna make, why not make it like a really beautiful machine that incorporates all of my attention, all my care, like
all my
I don't know.
skills.
It's like, yeah, the
Like,
last thing I will leave behind is a thing that I've made really well.
yeah.
Um, just use all of my effort. And it's like, in a way, it's like I mean, it's admirable, I guess, but what it's used for, I don't, I don't encourage. But
I don't know. I gotta
um,
tell you, my morbid curiosity is making me go like, I gotta go on like, is there still rotten.com or whatever? Like, where do you go to find
oh yeah,
this like
yeah.
setup? I just want to see the crime scene photos of like his setup,
Oh my God, wow, you're right.
you know?
Because there certainly must be, especially with how recent this is.
Yeah, exactly. And like the bed, I'm just like picturing did he like hang his head over the edge of the bed
Uh,
and lay
it's
horizontal
I know. Well, I
across?
mean,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah, true.
my engineer brain is going now where I go, ooh, how did he do this?
Damn, this is so fucking crazy. This is
Boyd,
so crazy. I mean,
R.I.P. Honestly,
yeah,
man.
rest in peace.
Honestly.
Rest in peace to all these folks.
Ooh, we're getting really good here. We got a few left, and this is top. This is I was just somebody was just talking about this on another podcast. I think I was watching Suicide
Oh
by
wow.
Crocodile.
Damn.
Um, a Thailand woman chose to end her life by jumping into the jaws of a crocodile. Witnesses of the horrific suicide saw Wenpen Inyai jumping into a pond at Samut Prakan Crocodile Farm and Zoo. According to reports, she took off her shoes before jumping into the middle of a pond said to
Oh,
be up to 3 meters
whoa.
deep that contain hundreds of adult crocodiles. Now, I'm not going to go out on a limb, and if I even see one around there,
I know,
hundreds.
man.
Staff
Hundreds, just
tried.
like,
Oh,
yeah.
that's a horde. That is a horde of crocodiles.
Yeah, I mean, I I don't know if I've ever seen 100 of an animal ever in my life. You know what I mean? Like in
I've been
person.
to Gatorland in Florida because I am white
Oh, okay.
trash. Okay. It's one of my favorite places to go. And it that I have seen about 35 to 50 at least in a pen snapping around and being fed and
Crazy. And
stuff.
it's
They
gotta
throw
be
chickens and whatever, and they're all
I couldn't believe my eyes if I saw that many. It's like it's an incredible sight. Like seeing that many animal. Like I don't know.
yeah.
It's maybe because it's so different to me, but like
I feel like it's something you see on a nature show. Like you don't see that all the
yes,
time in real
yes,
life. Like you
yeah,
some
yeah.
outback of wherever, Louisiana or something. I don't know. Even then, if you saw 50 in the wild, that would be more insane than in a zoo if you're in a closed
I
setting.
know, man.
If you were just
Wow.
within feet or whatever of that, a
Yeah.
100 feet, even if you saw that, I'd be like, no, I'm gonna go. They,
Wow.
which ones are the slow ones? I forget. Anyway,
Oh
staff tried to use long sticks to stop the crocodiles from attacking her. They unfortunately were unable to rescue her due to the lax safety rules of many Tahi tourist attractions. They spelled that wrong, and I said Tahi. It's Thai.
Oh
And
yeah, typo. I was like, maybe.
the woman was easily able to climb. I'm just a robot. The woman was easily able to climb into the enclosure. Apparently, Pen's family had tried to file a missing persons report earlier that day after they discovered her disappearance, but they were reportedly told to wait for 24 hours. Damn,
Wow.
Policia! Every time they don't
I
care.
know.
Her death mirrored
Yeah,
that of a
really.
woman who killed herself in 2002 the same way at the same farm, and another suicide reportedly took place a decade before that. And this place still
Wow.
didn't have any fences.
I know. It's just like,
They were just like, "Look, have at it.
yeah, man. They're
You
like,
want to
look, this
go?
place is,
Our
yeah.
crocodiles are hungry. Honestly, that's less chicken we have to buy."
It's really, I mean, it's like, it's an interesting, like, periodically people are doing the same thing here, and they're like,
They're just leaping into something unknowable.
oh my God, man.
Let's
All of these are, yeah,
let's
it's,
get to this last one before we take another break here and get to the third part of this. We're gonna get to
yeah.
suicide by homemade shotgun helmet. Okay, Charles, I
Wow.
don't know. Do you think we can cover this in 2.5 minutes here, or
We
should we stop and take a break?
can do it. We can do
Can we do it? All
it.
right.
Yeah.
This is pretty interesting.
Holy
Here's a picture
shit.
of it. Okay, already my satisfied curiosity. A lot of masking tape. Is
Whoa.
that masking tape? What's going on here? The full details are difficult to track down, but sometime in the 1970s, wow, a troubled young
Wow.
man dedicated substantial time and ingenuity to build a helmet that would fire 800 shotgun shells, each containing 8.330 8.38 millimeter lead balls into his skull. The helmet was reinforced with a fiberglass and epoxy resin mixture. Wires from constructed from metal clothes hangers led from an arc welder to nails set against the primers of the shotgun shells. When the arc welder was activated, the 8 shotgun shells would fire simultaneously. The design even included the option to manually fire one of the shells if they all failed to fire electrically.
Wow.
Am I going to kill myself with
This is
electricity?
like getting, yeah, dude. This is like getting, yeah, right. Such an incredibly complicated
This is so in the
procedure.
70s. In the 70s,
I
he didn't
mean,
have
yeah, it's
YouTube.
like,
He didn't have YouTube. The guy with the
yeah,
guillotine had YouTube, to be fair.
true.
Early YouTube, early YouTube, but YouTube nonetheless. The
It's
arrangement of the
true.
shotgun shells was designed to ensure complete destruction of the brain and avoid the suffering of failed suicide attempts that can sometimes occur with shotguns. 3 shotgun shells were positioned in the front of the helmet to fire through the frontal lobes. 2 were situated opposite each other diagonally to fire through the temporal lobes. 1 was located at the rear to destroy the occipital lobe. Finally, 2 from the top to penetrate the parietal lobes down to the cerebellum and brain stem. The ingenious and terrible helmet functions seamlessly just one single time. That was what was required. Talk to someone and get help. Yes. Morbid topics. We're
Yeah.
going to come back with morbid topics after we have to take another break here, Charles. All
All
right.
right.
I will see
Sounds
you
good.
very soon. Hey, we're back. It's hotter than hell in
Uh,
my room.
I know it's so hot outside. I mean, it's
I
kind of nice now, but
I have to have the windows closed because my neighborhood it would just be quads and like, but
oh yeah.
just loud sounds.
Yeah, I know about that. Yeah, man,
uh,
it's starting up.
Yeah, but I'm on the second floor and just always gets hot. But
Hmm.
it's feels like I stepped into a pit of lava. No, I'm just kidding. That was a terrible joke. I was setting myself up for that. Um no, we're back. We want to say we got cut off. If I just left the episode, well, first of all, we
Oh
didn't
yeah.
we didn't get to we didn't get to one thing still anyway. But if we just left that and just ended there, and I didn't even like give your credits or like have you say like oh, where can we see you or whatever, and just like the end of a suicide,
Yeah.
largely offensive suicide discussion about making fun of. We're not making fun of anyone's way of committing it. We were not. Let's just be straight.
Right.
We were not making fun or roasting anyone's. They were all great ways. They were
Yeah, most
great ways.
definitely. Yeah,
You are out
I
there
agree.
considering suicide. Please get help. But also, if you want to do it in a fun way. Do it in a fun
Right.
way that when people find you, it's going to end up on a cool listicle
Yeah.
that I can find in the future
Mhm.
and
I
talk
know.
about.
It's true. You know, the thing that would be that I'd like to look into would be like a list of I don't know how many they make it public, and I guess if someone was intending to make it public, it would be interesting to read. Like, or truthfully, not really, but maybe just not to do it on like a public forum, like broadcast it, but like suicide notes,
Oh,
because that might get more to the heart of uh the reasons behind it. 'Cause it's
what's
like
going on there? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't condone it. I don't encourage it. Um, in any sense, but like it would just be interesting to see what someone had to say about it. It's
No,
like,
it's kind of like a wailing wall or something. It's like
oh wow, yeah.
it embodies their spirit and kind of has their energy on there. When you put pen and pencil onto paper, especially, you're putting your energy
Hmm.
permanently on there. They say like you should write down things you want sometimes when you're doing like any kind of manifestations and stuff too. I like to write
Hmm.
down lists, like thing goals or
Wow.
whatever. Um,
Yeah.
so that kind of like maybe would help, yeah, like you said, understand what was going on and help people go, oh, I'm going through the same thing. Is it that bad?
Hmm.
Is this worth doing this? And get to the
Yeah.
root of some of these things.
Right.
Um,
Also, just like uh I don't know, it's like I suppose it's also just like an interesting accounting of, and it's, I know the world's a huge place, but it's like an accounting of human history. And I don't know how many people have like written the thing before they've died, where
yeah.
it's like, it's
Or their last painting, like I went to the Van Gogh
hmm.
exhibit thing, and
Hmm.
it's like the last painting is memorialized as that
Oh
final
wow.
painting.
Mm. I didn't
And
know that.
it's honestly it's let's say we catalog war memorials to
Yeah,
our
yeah.
honor of the lost. We catalog news stories, which is a horrible way, but person was shot. You can see all this
Mhm.
stuff on the internet. You can see news in the news articles all the time, newspaper, news on TV, whatever.
Yeah.
Tragic ways of people dying, and that's still a tragic way of someone dying, but you always hear the details, and it's like, yeah, we know it was suicide, but like, what's yeah, let's give them some kind of honor the dead instead of it being like oh, it was disgraceful to have someone die that way,
Hmm.
because a
Yeah,
lot of
and
people like get terminal cancer diagnoses and then decide to do it.
right, right.
There was another story I had clicked on before that one I found that was too sad. It was just like the chick found out whatever she got colon cancer, and then even though it was in remission, she was too scared of it coming back, so she just whatever offed herself. And
Wow.
so like people have their reasons, and this 3D vessel that we're in, and like you said, like it doesn't matter. Existence doesn't really matter. Not that we're both suicidal.
Right.
It's
And
like
it was
not
like, well, go on. I'm sorry to
not
interrupt you.
essential. It's not essential. You're just that
Right,
little speck in the universe. It's not essential to the whole universe surviving as you being here.
right. And I think the thing that like I clarified, which was like, you know, the reason I didn't do anything is, yeah, even if I had this feeling where it's like, and I mean, I, I'm sure other people have felt it, but it was, again, it was like extraordinary for me where I had these feelings where it was like I felt insignificant, but not upset. But the thing that made me not do it was like, well, I'm here now and I can make whatever I want out of, you know, I can make whatever meaning I want out of where I'm at right now. So, I mean, in my case, I was like, I guess I'll just go to an open mic and do stand up, which is nice. It's like I'm glad I got to do it, but it is a very like the
That sounds
bars, yeah, the
like a
bars.
movie. That sounds like a movie plot about someone who
I
then
know. Well, yeah, but yeah, it's like I think that uh there's power that you can find within that. Like, say you do feel um there's like a lack of I don't know. You feel like I can't even remember how you were saying it. You feel like, oh,
uh
nothing matters or
it's
whatever,
disconnected.
basically.
It's disconnected
Right.
from reality, to where this
Yeah.
virtual reality
But
that
it's
we
like,
experience with our eyes. Remove your
right.
eyes from it. Go, what if I was blind? How
Hmm.
much would existence, you know what I mean, change for
Right.
me?
And yeah, but yeah, and I think it just it was more encouraging than anything for me because it was like uh I've I can I mean, like I said, I can go to an open mic, say I perform once, and it's like, well, that's good enough for me. Uh I made something out of these couple hours or whatever, however long it is. And yeah, it's like I have, fortunately, I live in a country and sort of have like uh the freedom to do these things where it's like I can
And
make
the
this meaningful for
access
myself.
and like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, so it's like I'm blessed in all these regards, but then also I have this agency that allows me to uh make or even think it's like make this meaning for myself that allows me to live my life in what I think is like a meaningful way.
yeah,
So yeah, even if it doesn't, it's like there, there's something empowering to me about being like I'll just create it as I go. I'll create whatever the meaning is as I go.
yeah. It's kind of,
Yeah.
that's what the answer is, I think. Sometimes is some people put too much meaning in one thing. Like maybe that guy with the guillotine was like really like he tried to build something and
Yeah.
and it for someone or for a job, and maybe it came out and it was like, well, we're not going to use your idea. Maybe he tried to patent something, or who knows.
Yeah, of course. Because it's like I've been in that position before too, where you do like you place all this value on these external things or like validation from elsewhere. And yeah, if you're not like if you're prone to depressive thoughts or whatever, or
Mhm.
you're just so obsessed about it, that can lead you to a place that where like your mental state is probably not incredibly stable. And
Yeah,
you know
spirals. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame because we have a mental issues on my one side of my family pretty bad, so
Hmm.
face to face with it. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was important what you were saying about creating something, whatever it means to you.
Hmm.
Like whatever you just said, you're funny because you're like, I just went to an open mic and I was gonna make a joke like, oh, Charles is endorsing going to open mics instead of committing suicide that day.
I
It's
mean,
known, it's
yeah.
proven to stop it. Honestly, there's probably people who have, I feel like there's been times I've been somewhere and someone who was maybe going to consider something drastic earlier in the night
Hmm.
came and showed up and did an open mic or just hung out at one and
Hmm.
left with the rest of us and was just
Yeah,
like, you know what? Life is just what you make it. And it's corny and cheesy and people hate that.
I
It's like,
know. It's true.
I wasn't dealt the best hand in life. I just, deal with what I got. And I've always said, play the hand you're dealt.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. It's yeah, I agree.
and then if you want to end it, if you want to fold, okay. But like, really think about that. Make a decision. Like, you could keep playing. And, you don't
Right.
always come out with the pair of aces every time. But,
Hmm.
sometimes if you stick through these pair of twos that you get the next time, this is for all the
Yeah.
gambling addicts that are also considering suicide, like myself, at some
Yeah.
point in your life. No, but like, yeah, you take the good, you take it in, you take it out, and you have to roll with your life as you intend it to be. Once you pick something, and then like, don't get discouraged. I had a really interesting conversation with a friend about like relationships ending, and she was like, don't consider it a failed. She's like a master in psychology too, and like a yoga guru. But she's like,
Mm.
it's not a failed relationship when a relationship ends, or a failed friendship, or a failed job, or a failed attempt at something, or failed business. It's a experience that you had here that you got to do and have fun with for a while, and it like ended for one reason or another for you to have a
Right.
new type of experience in that either same arena or totally different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like career changes. I think about career changes because something that sometimes would make me depressed is like, honestly, I go, well, I didn't start comedy until most people who started at 19 are already established. I was in my 30s. So it was
Yeah.
just like, what I mean? But I was doing other stuff. I was in a band. I was doing other
Yeah.
stuff first for that part of my life. And I don't
Right.
consider it a failed band. It just ended for one reason or another.
Hmm.
And then I started a different chapter in my life. And who knows, wherever many years go by, and then you
Yeah.
do something, and if it ends when you're 60 and you I go be a tomato farmer or whatever, and I
Hmm.
don't know, in
No, I
when the water wars start when we're 60.
man, oh man, that shit was
Talk
fucking
about morbid.
crazy, dude. Yeah, for real. That
um
really like yeah,
yeah, we'll
jeez
change the
Louise.
subject. We'll change the subject.
Well, but I mean, you do know I was gonna talk about the water thing, but that's again, that's a more. But what's more interesting is um like what you said about, say, being in a band. It's just like all of these things like you did at a particular time, and I agree that it's not a failure. And it's like, again, um these phrases and like these sayings, I guess, are like so overused, but it doesn't make them less true. But like, it really is about like, even if you become a tomato farmer or whatever, it's like the moment that you enjoy, whatever it is, or like the one thing, it's like, I think, like presence is a very important aspect of all of these things. um so, for whatever that's worth, like just enjoying the thing that you're doing, like right in that moment. um Hopefully, if you do, or maybe not even enjoying it, but just like being awake for it. Yeah,
experiencing
yeah,
it fully, and like the idea of not being distracted,
yeah, yeah. It there's Yeah.
hiding from
Again,
situations internally. Like if you don't, people do this thing where I think we gravitate to only happy situations as experiencing only joy. Like we were talking about joy earlier, and the
mhm,
joy of doing stand up. And the
yeah,
opposite for us, for stand ups, I feel like the opposite, the worst thing sometimes is like to have to go do something real,
yeah,
right? Like a
yeah, of
funeral,
course.
like a
Hmm.
funeral. Before comedy, I used to be the person that would sometimes laugh at funerals, like nervously or awkwardly or whatever that
Sure,
happens. And like
of
I talk
course.
about that. But like now I feel like it's more just like, wow, all right, well, here we are. This person has no idea we're here because their soul is long gone.
Yeah. Well, but
Or
there's
whatever.
also these things where, or related to those things, like going to, I mean, just doing anything that you don't necessarily want to do, where it's like, when you are in the position where you're like, uh I at least for me, I'm just like, I kind of want to just get to see what this is like, like, even if it's something that I am dreading or that I hate. It's like, here's another thing I'm gonna do in my life, and then I'm gonna get to experience. And it's like, probably, maybe I won't like this, but it's just another thing I'm gonna get to see. And it feels, I don't know, I guess I try to have gratitude for it, because it's like, I am aware enough, like my brain functions, my senses work. I get to go through all these things.
Yeah. And we lead ourselves into each experience, I think, with that in mind. If we do that, like where you go, I'm going to consciously go, even the simplest thing can be like an adventure or fun if you just
Yeah, yeah.
go into it with like, oh, my favorite song came on the radio, or I
Mhm.
saw something that made me smile stupid, whatever, on the way
Yeah.
there, and like just enjoy these little joys. Speaking of little joys, this is my little joy. I like to talk about weird snacks that people eat, especially like
Oh,
late at
wow.
night or
Okay.
somewhere,
Wow. Weird
if you've
snacks.
never thought
Okay.
about it, I have plenty of examples, but um
I'm thinking weird
it
snacks that
doesn't
I
have to be
like.
like a weird thing. It just may be a
Yeah.
weird combination, or
Okay.
a weird way of eating something. Someone
Okay.
had hot milk on cereal recently. That was
Wow, that actually
my
sounds kind of good.
Uh,
Damn,
right?
Naeem.
I
Wow.
know,
I
I
have
know. He
to.
does it for lactose reasons because it kills the lactose, but I drink plant
Oh,
milk, so that
really?
doesn't matter. Yeah, it does. If you
Wow.
heat up the milk, it does actually cook off
Oh, I didn't
some of the
know.
lactose. That's why some people can eat like cooked cheeses and
Hmm.
cooked food with cheese and milk in it, but like
Oh.
regular cheese will fuck with you. Actually, I said this on his episode. I'm not going to tell the whole thing. Uh,
Uh-huh.
being lactose intolerant is a um genetic, like natural thing to have. We're not,
Huh.
it's a genetic mutation to be lactose tolerant.
Oh,
And
wow.
I explain why on Naeem's episode when that comes out. Everybody can watch it and you can learn
Yeah,
about that. But
that's interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing about that. That also
yeah.
sounds like that sounds like a good dessert. I like I recently, this isn't a thing I usually eat, but since we're on the topic of cereal, I I just get a box of cereal,
Mhm.
and it's it's so good. Like it's
Not
crazy.
that's
It's
my
dessert.
snack. Not the first time to
Okay.
talk about this. That's one of mine is just like I just
Um,
eat handfuls like it's
yeah,
popcorn.
yeah. Yeah, I don't eat it. I don't eat it like I don't plate my cereal.
I mean, if
I just eat it, yeah.
yeah, I don't
I'm
think
just going in.
yeah, I don't pour it in a bowl. I just dog it right
Mhm.
out because if I buy a box, it's for me. It's not like other people share
Exactly.
my
Yeah.
box of cereal here. So it's just like a bag of Chex Mix,
Yes. Yes, exactly.
right? It's no
Um,
different. Sweetened
yeah,
corn.
it's crazy. It's man, it's so good. But
Do
yeah,
you have
that's
any favorites, top favorites, go-tos?
geez, the cereal, this is a funny, it's also funny to buy cereal like here's another thing that's like enjoyable or like to even if it's something as small as this, it's like that does kind of there's something that makes me smile or makes me like laugh a little bit about buying cereal as an adult. It's like a fucking silly box. It's in this colorful, shitty box, and it's
The
like,
aisle itself is just like
yeah, yeah.
explosion of like colorful
Hmm.
cartoon. It's so many kinds at my like supermarkets near me. It's
Hmm.
so many kinds of cereal that are designed to just covered in sugar for
Uh-huh.
children. But we're in there. I do that. I like to go, especially when I was doing Instacart for a minute. Um,
Yeah,
I like to just look at the crazy. Oh, here, look, give this to your kids in the morning, and then wonder why they have ADHD worse than.
I know, man. It really dawned like it wasn't until I had this cereal this week that I like ate a little bit of it and I was like, this is candy. Like
It's
it's candy.
candy. It's candy. Pop Tarts are
Um,
candy. That cereal is
yeah,
all candy. It's
yeah,
candy.
man.
I bought like I don't know, some kind of mix that was like Lucky Charms marshmallows and candy coated checks, and I was like, this. I'm just gonna put milk on this and just eat it.
It's so good. It's like it's really so good. I mean I think that's just
Do you
I
think,
think
hold
I
on, pause. Do you
yeah,
think it
yeah, go on.
indulges your childhood sense of like when you ate that a little bit? It gives you that kind of an energy as well as like that really sweet, sugary, just desserty
I
kind of.
I don't think I don't think it's a childhood related thing as much as it is like what I was saying before, where it's like like this is making my life a little bit more fun at the moment.
Yeah,
So like
okay.
whatever age I'm at, I'm just like uh what look at this fucking silly stupid cereal and I'm gonna eat it and it's like there's just like I get to do that. It's like really like I feel I mean, I sound like a crazy person, but I'm like, it's like a fucking party to eat that.
It's a
It's
party in
you
my
know, it's
mouth.
like yeah, it's like what I'm wild right now. You know what I mean? Like
I'm letting
I'm
it loose.
eating yeah, I'm
I'm
eating
cutting up.
like an insane sugary fake food.
It's
And
all color, all different colors,
yeah,
like the fake
yeah,
colors.
it's right. It's fucking bright and it's so unnatural, but it's like
It's so
it's yeah, it's fun, man. That's like when I sometimes when I if I go to like one of my friends has I don't know if I go to like a party or something, I'll bring something kind of like I'll bring cookies or something. It's like
okay.
this is like not silly, but it's like
You're a dessert guy. You bring like a fun. You're not bringing like Doritos
I guess I guess if people ask, but I mean a lot
on
of the
your
time it's
own.
just like yeah, like a lot of the time I'm just like well I should bring something because you invited me,
Yeah.
so that, but then also it's like this is a fun I don't know, it's not I guess it's like the tiny part of the food pyramid, right? I don't know, but it's like
It's the
oh
least
I
you're
get
supposed to
to
have.
right, and
You
it's
just
like I
dabble
get
your toe.
to
You just dip your toe in that water
yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, I think actually maybe this is related to childhood, but not my direct experience necessarily. But I remember one time before school, my mom was driving me to school. It was like an elementary school, and for some reason we had to stop in. I guess maybe I had time before school or something, so we like went into Friendlies,
Okay.
and there was a grown man in like a suit, and he was eating an ice cream sundae, and it was like it was like 7 a.m. and I think it just stuck with me, I guess. I was just like, this is so fucking cool.
I'm gonna say, I swear, I feel like I had the exact parallel experience at some point in my life. Like I walked in that Friendly's restaurant and just saw a grown
Yeah.
up eating with like Reese's Pieces or whatever all over,
Yeah.
like fudge all down the side, and like an adult energy just sitting there
So
just
funny. But
as a
now,
kid.
yeah, I know. But yeah, as a kid, I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I guess now, if I'm left to thinking about it a little bit more, I'm like, what the fuck was his morning like before that? Like, what did he do? Or what is he going to do? Like,
Yeah.
he's like dressed up. It's like, you can't just go to work. Like, that was, you know, he had a
Limo
fight
driver to a
before.
funeral.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it was like, going to something.
Oh yeah, he
But
fought his wife. Were you say like he fought his spouse or something, and then
yeah, he
like
like got into
had to
like
go
a
to work,
huge
had to
argument.
go to
Yeah, and
work,
he's
but he
like,
needed some
fuck this,
joy
I'm
on the
getting ice
way.
cream. Yeah. But again, that's the thing where it's like, what a shitty experience I've either just had or I'm going to have. And it's like, fortunately, I get to go do this one thing where I'm going to eat an ice cream sundae like a crazy person at 7 a.m. and full suit, like dressed
Full
up.
suit,
It's so funny to me.
like
But also it's like, yeah, this is, these however many minutes it takes me to eat this, I'm gonna enjoy
yeah,
the experience that I'm currently living through.
yeah.
So, but yeah, I guess that's related to like part of the reason I'll like bring cookies or something. But yeah, but yeah, the cereal I guess is kind of a
That's it.
getting
That's
back to
your
your
weird.
original. I
I
guess so. I mean, I eat a lot of almonds just
do
because it's
too.
like
They're,
just they're I don't know.
they're
It's
healthy
like
and easy.
yeah, and it's like I don't know. I feel like I always like I never eat the right amount at a meal, so I'm always like sort of hungry. So I just like have almonds around.
Little
So I'm just
blood
like,
sugar dips.
it must be or something. It's like I'm sure I have some sort of some sort of thing with
It's like my
not
dog. I throw
wanting.
her handfuls on the ground.
Yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, it's I'm sure I overdo it with those, but I haven't I remember one day one of my friends was like, you're gonna get there's something called like strychnine poisoning. I
Oh,
think
I've
that's if
heard of
you
like there's some things from certain nuts that you can become like too toxic from too much
uh-huh.
of it.
I think that's if you eat like fucking
It's probably
branches.
pounds. It's probably
Yeah.
pounds, and
Yeah.
like if all you consumed all day, if you were just
Uh-huh.
poor and you were just an almond farmer and that's all you had, and like
Yeah.
you might get a hold of. But I've eaten those for years just because it's like vegetarian, easy substitute protein to just like.
Yes.
But they're the most
Yeah.
boring white
I
people-y
know.
snack.
Yeah,
Just
it
like
really is, man. It's
plain.
such a I really it does if I like buy that at like a store, you know what I mean? Like especially out at like comedy stuff where it's like in between like just out at night
Snack
and I'll
like
like
7-Eleven
yeah, and
or
I'll like
something.
yeah, I come back with almonds and people are like, you're a fucking serial killer. Like get one of the rollers or something.
Like the blue diamond, like
Yeah. It's very sensible. Like
it's like a heart healthy on the packaging.
I know. It's like I feel like that shouldn't be sold in 7-Elevens
I
anymore.
mean,
Anyway.
this
It's like
lighting, I'm gonna just say again, this lighting has gotten slowly more and more serial killer over the whole
I
time.
know,
I truly
man.
appreciate the aesthetic. I'm hoping that you murder someone instead of yourself someday. I really
I
do.
yeah, no, not for me, man. I will yeah, I know. It's like the yeah, I wish I don't know. The lighting setup is well the other thing is like I'm far away from a lamp. Uh I totally could have sat at my desk, but I was like sitting at my desk for a while and I
Like
was like, I'll sit on the floor a little bit.
I like making fun
Switch
of
it
it.
up. I know. It's
It's
funny. I mean, it is funny. It looks like I'm in a fucking. I
it's
don't know. I mean, you're
literally
right. It's like
it's a cell.
POW.
It's a
Yeah,
cell. It's a camp. It's Guantanamo in there for all
yeah.
we know.
They gave me headphones to.
It just made me think of something I heard one time. I was in Brooklyn at a bar, like just hanging around in between trying to do mics and shit up there a couple of years ago before COVID. And I don't know why. I like this guy, like older man, who's just sitting there and like he was talking about the younger people in Brooklyn. Whatever he said, he was like, and that music they listen to, it's like being in fucking Guantanamo. Some EDM really got you that tripped up.
Dude, that's so funny. Yeah, now that I think about it, I mean, I guess the Guantanamo, like in a non-prisoner situation, the Guantanamo playlist is pretty good. It's like Metallica and shit. It's like songs I like, actually. I never thought about that, but yeah, it's like that's so funny though to be. I guess that is the because they did that at Waco too, right? Didn't they play heavy metal at them?
Yeah. Like,
Crazy. It's yeah, how rude. Imagine being the band.
oh
You're like,
man.
yo,
Like, yeah, we didn't sign on for this. Like,
yeah. I wonder if anything because people like like Trump used I forget whose song he used, but oh, he used like
oh,
wasn't it like Coldplay or something? They're like, hey,
yeah.
stop using our song.
Yes, I think it was. I think it was Coldplay. I'm pretty sure you're right. I have to look it up. But
Yeah, but
uh
I wonder if bands, get a hold of that. With Guantanamo, I bet someone was like, knock it off. But with Waco, I wonder if they were like, you can't use our music to
I mean,
bother people.
they didn't have the ability to go on the internet and like claim copyright claims as forcefully or
Yeah,
like
I guess that's true.
uh
Because it's like, yeah, also, it's like once it's out there.
oh, wait a minute. I tried to look it up real quick and it's literally 17 music stars who slammed Trump for using their
Yeah,
songs.
I know, like it
Coldplay
was
did
like,
something about praising immigrants. They released a song praising immigrants to like go against him, I guess
oh
you'd say.
man.
But Chris Martin says he feels like Donald Trump, blah, 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 something. Yeah. But it's just enough to know that 17 different people were like, hey, can you
I
not?
know. It's so
It's
funny.
so
It's like,
corny. It's
I
so
know, man.
corny. Like you would take royalties from a FDA drug that kills people or you know what I mean? Like
That's actually,
whatever.
yeah, that's an interesting point where,
Most of them.
yeah, 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 because it's like, I mean, I guess it is being politicized, but when a
It
politician
is.
is using your music, but also it's like,
It's free press. It's like Rihanna's exploded after the Super Bowl.
right, right, right,
She's always been
yeah,
a superstar, like I feel like, but now they were like saying like she had so many new fans after that.
yeah, I believe it.
So
Um,
it's public free endorsement on the biggest platform.
yeah, and
Calm
it's
your pussy
yeah,
mouths.
it's a really complicated because it's like, I guess the intent is like, or not the intent, but like the hope is you put music out and you're like, hopefully people enjoy this. I don't
Want to
care.
listen
I
to it,
don't really
play it
care
at their
who, it's
parties.
like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You're just like,
And it's
hopefully they
like,
jam and feel the vibes,
yeah, but
but not him. He can't vibe out to our music.
I know that is yeah. I guess it would be different if it was just like, cell phone video Trump like chilling, listening to Coldplay. It's like, all
Like
right.
smoking a cigar, like
Yeah, yeah.
whiskey, just
Be like,
like
yeah, yeah, go
nodding. That's sometimes
ahead.
what he does. He just comes out to jam songs. I don't know.
I know,
Whatever.
man.
Charles, this has been, I think, one of my favorite episodes so far.
Wow.
And unless you have
Well,
any
thank you.
other weird stories, weird snacks, weird tales, uh,
I,
you,
I
I'm
no,
not
I
pressuring
don't
you.
have, yeah,
It's
I don't have like, I don't think so.
all right. All right. Well, then tell the people
Yeah.
where they should look for you at.
Okay. Also, thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for doing
I
it.
enjoyed talking to you.
Yes.
So this was nice.
You can go forward into the future, into the now, and look for future synchronicities and come back to me with weird
Yeah,
stories.
yeah,
And
I'm gonna keep an eye out because that stuff does fascinate me, and it's like, there's something, uh, yeah, it's just there's something alluring about like the inexplicable, to me necessary. Like
yeah,
it's just like,
you're in
oh,
my
this
energy.
feels, yeah, yeah. It's like this feels like magic or something, and I
Yes.
don't know what else to call it.
That's a perfect description. It is your
Yeah,
magic. You can create, it's like corny to say, like, oh, I do magic, but
yeah, right.
whatever. Don't be mad you
I
can't.
know.
You create it's just you think you create things with your mind. That's magic.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, what's a better
I
word? There's not really. That's the word I'm gonna use, yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's another word you can use for it, but it's like
It's
it's what it feels
magic
like.
that your
Yeah.
brain makes things that make other people laugh sometimes, and it's a huge ego
Yeah,
trip.
because because it's like it's not just me. It takes all these other people that are here.
Listening and
There's like a
feeling it.
cooperation
Yeah.
um that yeah is
Cooperation of
just like
souls.
mhm. It's yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Um yeah, just
It meshes well together. Now find me the weirdest cereal that you have out there and the
I
most
know what is
sugary.
a
And my,
weird.
my Patreon eventually, when I start one, is going to be
Oh,
where I go
good.
back to previous guests and
Yeah.
have them, we're going to eat whatever weird snack.
Ooh, I love that. That sounds
Yeah.
great. I
And
would
we could
love
try
to
it with
do
hot
that.
milk. I still haven't tried it yet home. I bought some oat milk the other day and I was like,
I
all right,
would.
let me get the steamer
Wow.
out.
Yeah. Man, that sounds so good. I mean, yeah, we should. I would love to do that. An on air taste
Yeah.
test, like have Naeem help us prepare
Yeah. That could be a
it.
combo. That could be a combo episode since you both gravitated to the same thing. I
Yeah,
have a
that's so
couple cereal
funny.
people, couple cereal. Maybe I'll have like a big group cereal
Well, I
meetup.
just yeah,
Everybody brings a different
yeah,
box.
serial enthusiast. Well, that's an interesting like synchronicity. I guess if you want to call it a synchronicity,
Yes.
where it's like you just happen to mention it. And it's like, well, this week, um, for whatever reason, I haven't had cereal in years. I
Yeah.
guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's
If it triggers in a response in your brain, it is a synchronicity.
wild, wild
Any
stuff.
patterns. It's also a high grade autism. Like
Hey, yeah, man. Jeez
no.
Louise, yeah, no.
All right, Charles, this has been great. Again, where I'll put your details in the bio in the link and stuff
Sure. Yeah,
if
yeah.
you don't want to say it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, no, you can have it.
Uh
Oh yeah, my social media. Yeah, so social media accounts. I mean the ones that I use every once in a while are Twitter and Instagram, and it's at the Blizzard, TheBlyzard. And those are the two social media things that I, update like here and there. I have a radio show, tune into that every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on KPISS.FM.
KPISS.
I know,
Give it up
quite
for
the name.
KPISS. Love it.
Yeah, shout out KPISS. But yeah, that's it right now,
All
and
right.
I'll do stand up here and
All right.
there.
Listen, this is great. It'll be out in about a month.
Wow,
And
amazing.
hopefully I'll see you soon in real life
Yeah,
before then. Thank you for
yeah, that
coming
would be
on.
great.
All
Of
right.
course. Have a good
Hell
night. Thank you
yeah.
again.